The Last Words of a Dying Alien Empire. Were About Humans is a compelling and imaginative piece of science fiction that explores themes of power, survival, and the inevitable decline of even the mightiest of empires. The story is set in a distant future where an alien race, once the dominant force in the galaxy, is on the brink of extinction. This race, known for their advanced technology and military prowess, is experiencing their final days as an empire, their once thriving civilization crumbling due to internal and external pressures. The narrative begins with the introduction of an ancient, decaying alien empire. These beings, whose name has been lost to history, are described as technologically superior to humans, but, despite their advancements, are unable to stave off the inevitable decay that has set in. The Empire's downfall is not just a result of warfare, but also of profound societal stagnation. The once great empire is now fragmented, its territories in disarray, and its resources rapidly depleting. A deep sense of despair pervades the alien race, and their final days are marked by an overwhelming realization that they have no future left. In their final years, the aliens are forced to turn to humanity, the up-and-coming force in the galaxy, for one last glimmer of hope. The humans, having risen to prominence through their resilience and adaptability, are seen by the alien race as both a threat and a potential savior. There is a sense of both envy and awe in the aliens' perception of humans, as they witness the rapid rise of a species that had once been insignificant in the grand scheme of galactic politics. As the aliens prepare for their final stand, their leaders gather to address their people, knowing that their civilization is about to fade into history. It is in these final moments that the alien race delivers their last words, and to their surprise, these words are not about their own empire or their struggle for survival. Instead, the dying empire's last thoughts are focused on humanity. The aliens, in their final moments, acknowledge that they have been surpassed by this young, evolving species. They express a mix of admiration and fear, recognizing the potential of humanity to rise beyond their own achievements, to surpass them in ways they could never have imagined. The story delves into the emotional and philosophical weight of this acknowledgement. The aliens, once proud and invincible, now find themselves humbled by the very species they had once looked down upon. In their dying breath, they speak of humans not as a mere threat but as a force of nature, one that is destined to reshape the galaxy in ways that even the greatest minds of the alien race could not predict. There is a sense of inevitability in their words, as they realize that the Empire's downfall was not just a consequence of their own failures, but also a result of the unstoppable rise of humanity. As the story concludes, the alien race fades into obscurity, the Empire collapsing under the weight of its own failures. Humanity, meanwhile, continues to thrive, stepping into the void left by the aliens. The final words of the alien empire echo in the silence of space, leaving behind a legacy that serves as a testament to the enduring strength and adaptability of humanity. The story ultimately poses a question of what it means for a species to rise, to dominate, and to eventually fall, and how the next generation will shape the future of the galaxy. It is a poignant meditation on the cyclical nature of history, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the undeniable truth that no empire, no matter how mighty, is immune to the passage of time. As humanity begins to assert itself in the aftermath of the alien empire's collapse, the void left by the dying race presents both opportunities and challenges. The galaxy, once dominated by the alien empire's iron grip, is now an open expanse where new powers and factions begin to emerge. The remnants of the alien empire's technology, scattered across planets and abandoned star systems, become both a blessing and a curse. Humanity finds itself with access to unparalleled advancements, but these discoveries come with a weight of understanding that the once great alien civilization, for all its achievements, failed to anticipate the relentless nature of change. Humanity's rise is not a smooth journey. The alien race, in their final days, had already spread fear about the unpredictable nature of humanity's potential. They had seen the signs, the rapid technological progress, the unity forged through adversity, and the relentless drive of the human spirit. In their final reflections, the aliens had observed that humanity, unlike their own stagnating civilization, was a species capable of continual reinvention and adaptation. It is this flexibility, this ability to evolve in the face of adversity, that is both humanity's greatest strength and, in the eyes of the aliens, its greatest threat. Human leaders and scientists analyze the alien texts and ruins with awe, but also with a degree of caution. The information left behind offers incredible insight into the alien race's long-lost knowledge and their catastrophic mistakes. Some see it as a roadmap for advancement, while others caution against repeating the errors that led to the aliens' downfall. The cautionary tale is clear. Progress, without an understanding of the costs and consequences, can lead to the kind of ruin that had befallen the once great empire. Humanity must learn from the alien race's mistakes, navigating the perils of unchecked ambition, internal decay, and the fatal traps of arrogance. One of the core themes that emerges in the story is the idea of legacy. As humans step into the void left by the alien empire, they are faced with the question of how they will be remembered. The alien race had once been the dominant force, shaping the course of galactic history. Yet, in their final moments, they acknowledged that they would be remembered not for their triumphs, but for their failures that allowed another species to rise. Humanity now stands at a crossroads, aware of the responsibility that comes with inheriting the mantle of power in a galaxy once ruled by a different force. The dying words of the aliens also speak to the philosophical realization that even the most powerful civilizations are not immune to the natural course of entropy. The alien empire, though technologically advanced, had lost the very thing that had once made them great: adaptability. They had ceased to innovate and to evolve. In contrast, humanity was viewed with a sense of awe because of their ability to not only adapt but to thrive under pressure. In the end, it was the survival instinct that led to the alien empire's final acknowledgement to humanity's inevitable dominance. As the story concludes, the alien empire fades into the annals of history, their once proud civilization a mere relic. The last words of the dying aliens resonate across the galaxy, a final tribute to the species that had risen from nothing to claim their place in the stars. Humanity, now fully aware of the legacy they have inherited, embarks on their journey to shape the future of the galaxy. But unlike the alien empire, humanity has learned the value of resilience, the necessity of evolution, and the power of change. They are no longer the young, struggling species they once were. They are the new architects of the galaxy's future, carrying with them the lessons of those who came before them. As the story progresses, humanity finds itself at a crossroads. The final words of the alien empire, uttered in their dying breath, continue to reverberate through the collective consciousness of human leaders and citizens alike. The aliens' realization that their downfall was inevitable, then brought about by their inability to adapt, becomes a warning, a clarion call to humanity. They are reminded constantly that they, too, may be doomed to the same fate if they do not learn from past. In their efforts to secure their place in the galaxy, humanity's leaders begin to seek counsel from every corner of the galaxy, opening dialogue with every race they encounter, hoping to forge alliances, gather knowledge, and unite against the growing unknown threat. Yet, the galaxy is a place full of deeply ingrained histories and long-standing grievances, and even the most noble efforts are often met with resistance. The idea of unity is appealing, but its execution is far from simple. Old conflicts rise to the surface as humanity seeks to broker peace, and as tensions mount, so too does the fear of the unknown force, whatever it may be, growing ever closer. As the uncertainty and danger of the galaxy intensify, humanity faces its most profound question yet. Can they live up to potential that the alien empire saw in them, or will they succumb to the same pitfalls that led to the fall of their predecessors? The answer to this question will shape the future of the galaxy. The fate of countless civilizations depends on humanity's ability to learn, adapt, and collaborate. If they are to avoid the same tragic fate as the alien empire, humanity must put aside their differences, resist the allure of power, and remain vigilant against the cosmic forces that threaten all life in the galaxy. The story concludes with humanity standing on the precipice of a new era, the future uncertain, but full of potential. The last words of the alien empire echo in the background, a warning, a hope, and a challenge. Will humanity rise to meet it, or will they fall as others have before them? Only time will tell, but the path they choose will define the galaxy for generations to come. Reaches of the galaxy, an unknown force that could potentially rival the fallen empire. Some believe that remnants of the alien race still exist, hiding in the deep void of space, waiting for the right moment to strike. Others speak of ancient, forgotten species who have watched the rise and fall of countless civilizations, waiting to see if humanity will repeat history or if they will carve their own path. The presence of this mysterious force sends ripples of fear throughout the galaxy, forcing humanity to confront the very real possibility that their rise to power could be short-lived if they fail to unite against a common enemy. Humanity must decide whether it will continue to engage in self-destructive infighting or whether they will come together in the face of this new, existential threat. In the process, they must reconcile the divisions within their own ranks and find a way to move forward without repeating the mistakes of the past. Their leadership, once fractured by ideological differences, must now face the unifying challenge of survival. The aliens' final words resonate throughout the galaxy, not as a warning of doom but as a reminder of the fragility of power. They had been unable to adjust to the changing times, to the rise of new species, and to the shifting dynamics of the universe. In their last moments, they had looked to humanity, seeing them as both the inheritors of the galaxy and the potential harbingers of its future. Now, it is humanity's turn to live up to that legacy, to be the force that shapes the future rather than simply being shaped by it. As the story concludes, humanity's future remains unclear. The galaxy is vast, filled with untold potential and unimaginable challenges. The seeds of a new era are planted, but whether that era will be one of peace or war, of prosperity or decline, is yet to be determined. The choices humanity makes in the coming years will define their legacy, not just as conquerors of a galaxy once ruled by an alien empire, but as the architects of their own destiny. The final words of the dying alien empire, spoken in fear and awe of humanity, now become the rallying cry for the future. They are a reminder of what humanity could become, the rulers of the galaxy, or perhaps the force that reshapes the very fabric of existence itself. The future is in their hands, and with it, the power to either follow in the footsteps of the fallen or to chart a new course entirely, one where the mistakes of the past are not repeated, but transcended. As humanity grapples with its new position in the galaxy, it becomes clear that the legacy of the alien empire will not easily fade. The remnants of their technology, scattered across planets and star systems, continue to present both a boon and a burden. These powerful relics of a once great civilization are coveted by countless factions, some looking to use them to assert dominance, others hoping to unlock secrets that could propel them to new heights of understanding. Humanity's expansion continues, but the rapid progress and thirst for power bring tensions to the forefront. The competing factions, those who seek peace and unity and those who seek control, grow more entrenched in their ideologies. The galaxy teeters on the brink of a new conflict, and while some advocates of peace hope that humanity's inherent flexibility and adaptability will guide them through this turmoil, others fear that the rise of new powers, both human and alien, could undo everything the human race has achieved so far. To compound matters, humanity's engagement with other species continues to be fraught with complications. Several civilizations, emboldened by their newfound independence, are skeptical of humanity's intentions. These groups, many of whom had lived under the alien empire's rule for centuries, view humanity's attempts at diplomatic relations with a degree of suspicion. While some races welcome the possibility of a better future with humanity, others, embittered by years of oppression, are unwilling to trust the motives of any other species that seeks to wield power. These divisions within the galaxy create a delicate balancing act for humanity's leadership, as they struggle to prove that they are not simply repeating the same mistakes as the alien empire. In addition, whispers of the mysterious force that lurks on the edge of known space grow louder. Some of the alien empire's most ancient and guarded secrets suggest that this force is neither human nor alien but something far older, far more powerful, perhaps even an entity beyond comprehension. Some scholars believe this force is a remnant of forgotten civilization that once spanned the stars, existing long before the alien empire came into being. Others believe it could be a natural, cosmic force that has existed since the very formation of the galaxy, dormant for eons, now awakening to find the galaxy in disarray. Regardless of its origins, this unknown entity represents an existential threat to all life in the galaxy, human or otherwise. As humanity seeks to strengthen its hold over the galaxy, it is forced to face the possibility that it may not be the galaxy's true inheritors after all. This unknown force, whatever it may be, stands as a reminder that there are powers far beyond what any species can currently comprehend. The rising threat forces humanity to consider whether their pursuit of power is worth it in the face of an incomprehensible force that could wipe them out in an instant. The internal political climate within humanity grows even more unstable as these new threats loom. The factions that had once been debating the nature of humanity's role in the galaxy now find themselves arguing over the proper course of action in response to this looming threat. Some advocate for immediate militarization, preparing humanity for war with this unknown force, while others call for a more cautious approach, hoping to learn more about the threat before making any hasty decisions. The diplomatic efforts humanity makes with other civilizations are not enough to ensure peace. The history of the alien empire still looms large, and as humanity's reach extends further, they encounter more races who are unwilling to accept human rule. The idea of creating a new galactic order built on mutual respect is an ideal, but one that grows increasingly difficult to achieve. The temptation to use the alien empire's discarded tools of domination remains, but as the galaxy begins to fall into a state of flux, it becomes more and more apparent that this new power, this force, must be reckoned with if the galaxy is to remain intact. While there are factions within humanity that yearn for control and supremacy, there are many more who advocate for a united galaxy of equals. However, the story also emphasizes the internal struggles within human society as it becomes more entangled in galactic affairs. New tensions arise as different human factions, some more militaristic, others more diplomatic, clash over the approach to interstellar relations. The temptation to exert power over weaker civilizations is ever present, and while some humans wish to avoid the mistakes of the alien empire, others see opportunity in the void left by the fallen race. The conflict between these ideologies is palpable as humanity faces the same existential question that the alien empire did. How does one maintain control without repeating the mistakes of the past? The moral dilemmas grow more complex as humanity encounters alien species whose philosophies and cultures diverge drastically from their own. What does it mean to respect another species' autonomy when their values conflict with human ideals? The story doesn't shy away from these uncomfortable questions, portraying the complexities of intergalactic diplomacy in all its forms. Humanity is forced to confront the notion that, much like the alien empire before them, they are not infallible, and they must remain vigilant not to fall into the same trap of superiority and eventual decay. At the same time, humanity's expansion leads to new discoveries, ancient relics, unexplored technologies, and uncharted realms of space that offer both wonders and dangers. While the alien empire's knowledge and ruins provide a glimpse into their once great civilization, they also serve as a cautionary reminder of the arrogance and stagnation that led to their demise. Humanity must find ways to advance without losing the core principles that have allowed them to thrive thus far. The alien empire, in their final days, had left behind an enduring legacy, not just of technology and power, but profound lesson about the fragility of empires. The aliens had believed their empire was eternal, that their place in the cosmos was unshakable. Yet, their failure to adapt, to accept the inevitability of change, sealed their fate. Humanity now stands at the threshold of a future where the same forces of entropy and change are at work, and they must be more aware than ever that power, when wielded with arrogance, is a path to ruin. The story moves toward its conclusion with an air of uncertainty. While humanity has inherited the mantle of power, they have also inherited the responsibility to be better than their predecessors. Their journey is just beginning, and the galaxy is as full of peril as it is of promise. The final words of the alien empire ring out as a reminder of the cyclical nature of history, the rise and fall of empires, and the potential for humanity to break free from this cycle. The galaxy remains a vast, mysterious place, teeming with possibilities. Whether humanity will become the new rulers of the galaxy or whether they will fall as the aliens did is a question that remains unanswered. What is clear, however, is that humanity's future is not set in stone. It will be shaped by the choices they make, the values they uphold, and the recognition that no civilization, no matter how powerful, can last forever without change. In the end, the final words of the dying alien empire offer a paradoxical gift, a reminder of both humanity's potential and the heavy burden of inheriting a galaxy filled with both endless opportunity and the shadows of past mistakes. As the story closes, the fate of humanity is left open-ended, not as a finished tale, but as an invitation for the future to be written by those brave enough to question, to grow, and to shape their destiny, knowing that even in the face of uncertainty, they can choose a different path, one that avoids the traps of their predecessors and perhaps, in the end, builds a future that will stand the test of time. As humanity begins to chart its course through the complex web of galactic politics, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The galaxy is a place of profound beauty and unimaginable danger. The ruins of the alien empire stand as silent witnesses to the price of unchecked ambition, and the lessons they offer are not just theoretical, they are deeply personal. The humans who take up the mantle of leadership must wrestle with the same questions that the alien empire failed to answer. How do you balance progress with humility? How do you maintain power without letting it corrupt you? And, most importantly, how do you ensure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated? In the aftermath of the collapse, there are those who seek to distance themselves from the old empire's way of thinking. These individuals form a growing movement within humanity, one that advocates for a more egalitarian and cooperative approach to galactic governance. They believe that humanity's future should not be defined by conquest or control, but by collaboration and mutual respect. However, this vision is not universally shared. There are factions within humanity that see the alien empire's downfall as a warning to avoid weakness, to seize the opportunity to solidify their dominance before anyone else can challenge them. These factions begin to grow, both within the human government and in the military, where the temptation to assert human supremacy is strong. Tensions within humanity's leadership escalate, as ideological divides deepen between those who advocate for unity and those who seek power at any cost. Meanwhile, the galactic community watches closely, aware that the trajectory humanity chooses will impact not just their future, but the fate of countless other civilizations. For some, the new galactic order represents the opportunity to forge a more just society, one where the lessons of the alien empire's hubris are learned and internalized. These leaders focus on diplomacy, forging alliances with former alien subjugates, offering aid to those still recovering from the scars of empire, and working to build a cooperative system of governance that respects the autonomy of all species. They argue that a truly strong civilization is one that can inspire loyalty and respect without the need for fear and coercion. However, not everyone agrees with this approach. As the factions within humanity's leadership continue to grow, the question of how to address the instability left in the wake of the alien empire's collapse comes to the forefront. There are those who see the galaxy's chaotic state as an opportunity for a new kind of empire, one that would build upon the technological advancements left behind by the alien race, using them to create a dominant human-led order. This vision is shared by several military leaders and ambitious politicians, whose desire for control and security outweigh their consideration for others' freedoms. Their belief in humanity's superiority, fueled by the alien race's final words, leads them to view their rise as inevitable, a natural course for the galaxy. As the situation escalates, humanity's future becomes increasingly uncertain. Will they, like the alien empire before them, fall prey to the intoxicating allure of power and pride? Or will they rise above it, choosing instead to lead through understanding, collaboration, and mutual respect? The balance between these competing ideologies becomes a defining conflict, one that will determine the galaxy's fate. Amidst this uncertainty, there are whispers of a new, more powerful threat emerging from afar. The story ends on a note of contemplation, an understanding that the galaxy is vast, filled with both potential and peril. While humanity has now ascended to a position of power, the story leaves open the possibility that another empire, another species, might one day rise and challenge their place in the cosmos. The cycle of rise and fall continues, as inevitable as the stars themselves. But for now, humanity stands at the apex, its future unknown, its path unwritten, but full of promise. The final words of the alien empire, though spoken in defeat, remain a haunting reminder of the transient nature of power and the enduring, indomitable spirit of humanity. As humanity steps into the future, the lessons imparted by the fallen alien empire echo through every decision and every action. Their rise to dominance is not just about the possession of advanced technology or military strength. It is about the ability to forge a new path, to adapt, and to never lose sight of the value of change. The cautionary tales left behind by the alien race become not just relics of a bygone age, but tools for humanity's evolution. As they begin to expand and colonize the far reaches of space, humanity is faced with choices that will determine whether they will repeat the mistakes of the aliens or rise above them. A crucial aspect of this journey is the discovery of alien cultures that had been previously subjugated under the Empire's rule. In their final moments, the aliens had acknowledged the interconnectedness of all life across the galaxy. They recognized that their dominance had been built on oppression, and that their greatest failure had been the inability to respect the individuality and diversity of other races. This realization comes too late for the aliens, but it gives humanity a unique opportunity to chart a different course. Humanity begins to engage with these other civilizations, many of which have been suppressed for millennia under the alien empire's regime. Some of these civilizations are wary of the humans, remembering the cruelty and tyranny of their former masters. Others are eager to form alliances, seeing the humans as a potential source of hope for a more just and equitable galaxy. As humanity forges relationships with these newly freed races, they must navigate the delicate balance between building alliances and avoiding the same pitfalls of arrogance and control that led to the fall of the alien empire. One of the more poignant aspects of humanity's rise is their emphasis on cooperation and unity. While the alien empire had been marked by a rigid hierarchy and a culture of elitism, humanity brings a fresh perspective to governance. Their ability to unify diverse species, to foster collaboration, and to prioritize mutual survival sets them apart from the alien empire. However, this unity is not without its challenges. The political landscape becomes increasingly complex as different factions vie for power, and old grudges between species come to the forefront. The story explores the tension between idealism and pragmatism, as humanity realizes that true leadership is not just about strength, but also about compromise, empathy, and the ability to listen. The consequences of the alien empire's collapse ripple throughout the galaxy. Former colonies and satellites of the empire, now free to govern themselves, must learn how to survive without the protection or oppression of their former masters. Some find themselves ill-prepared for autonomy, struggling with governance, while others flourish, using the lessons learned from their time under alien rule to create better societies. Humanity, as a new galactic power, becomes a beacon for those seeking guidance, but their own internal struggles make it clear that even the brightest lights can cast long shadows. The story also delves deeper into the philosophical implications of the alien empire's downfall. The alien race had prided themselves on their perfection, and their belief that their dominance was both inevitable and deserved. In the end, their inability to adapt, to evolve, and to recognize the value of diversity and change led to their undoing. In contrast, humanity's strength lies not in any singular trait or ability, but in their capacity to embrace change. The aliens, in their final moments, had understood that the future of the galaxy was not theirs to control. They had seen the writing on the wall, their time was over, and the humans were the future. But the humans, instead of viewing the downfall of the alien empire as a mere victory, come to understand a deeper lesson. No civilization, no matter how great or mighty, is invulnerable to time and change. The story closes with humanity standing at the precipice of a new era, filled with both promise and uncertainty. They have inherited the galaxy, but with it, they carry the weight of the lessons learned from the alien empire's mistakes. Will they rise to fulfill their potential, or will they become another cautionary tale for the next great power to rise? The answer is unknown, but the future remains a canvas, waiting for humanity to paint its story. The last words of the dying alien empire, spoken not in arrogance but in resignation, serve as a reminder. Even the greatest civilizations must eventually give way to new forces, new ideas, and new possibilities. The fate of the galaxy now lies in the hands of humanity, whose destiny will be shaped not only by their ability to wield power, but by their willingness to embrace the unknown, to learn from the past, and to evolve with the changing tides of the universe. The last words of the alien empire were not just a statement of fear, but a declaration of what humanity could become, a species that, in its rise, might be both the inheritors of a great legacy and the creators of a new future. As humanity ventures into this new era of galactic prominence, the uncertainty of the future is both exhilarating and intimidating. With the lessons of the alien empire's fall hanging heavily in the air, humanity must grapple with the responsibility of wielding such power wisely. The galaxy is no longer the domain of the ancient empire, and its former colonies, though free from tyranny, are in flux. The collapse has left a power vacuum that humans are now poised to fill, but this process is neither smooth nor inevitable. One of the first challenges humanity faces is the rebuilding of trust with the newly liberated civilizations. Many of these species, having endured centuries of alien oppression, are wary of any new power that seeks to dominate them, even one that promises freedom. The memory of being subjugated under the alien empire remains fresh, and old grudges simmer beneath the surface. Humanity's leaders understand that their reputation will be shaped not by their military might but by their actions. Diplomacy, compassion, and the willingness to protect autonomy are now the true measures of strength. As humanity extends its influence, it finds itself in an intricate web of intergalactic relations. The galaxy is home to countless races, many of which are unfamiliar with the ways of human politics and diplomacy. The fear that humans might replicate the mistakes of the alien empire is ever present, especially among those who see humanity's rapid expansion as a potential threat. It is during these tense moments that the leadership of humanity begins to turn toward the values that have driven their success: adaptability, diversity, and the belief that no single species or civilization should hold dominion over the entire galaxy.